Good early AM, 5:55 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, December 23rd, 2022. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan, as we're the day before Christmas Eve. I want to thank everybody for tuning in on this very early Friday morning to end the trading week and to end all markets for the Christmas holiday, even though we're not missing anything because it's actually on the weekend, so there's no markets closed at the end of the week. Right now, the futures looks like it's up about 111 points. We'll go over the all markets here in a minute. But first things first, I want to go over two things. One, we're going to read. Secondly, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse calls Gary Gensler's meeting with Sam Bankman-Fried shameful. But first, I want to start with the XDC gets extension to exclude expert testimony in XRP lawsuit. And right now, just heads up, the Dow futures is up 132 points right now. So that's the future, so we'll see if that allows us to have any kind of what they would like you to believe is a Christmas rally, but all we're doing is reconsolidating some of the losses that we had earlier in the week. So the federal judge in the ongoing case or lawsuit between the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, and Ripple Labs, Inc. has granted a joint motion from all parties to extend the deadline for the Daubert motions that would exclude certain expert testimonies. So a Daubert motion is a type of motion that seeks to exclude the testimony of an expert witness. Both the SEC and Ripple have sought to seal the identities of certain non-parties. With the extension, all parties will have to submit the Daubert motions and related documentation by January 13, 2023, according to screenshots of court filings shared on social media. So that would mean don't listen to anybody. You got January 13th before anything else can even be disclosed in the XRP case. So no settlement, none of that nonsense. If somebody says it, turn them off. In December 2020, the SEC filed a lawsuit against Ripple and its executives, alleging the sale of XRP constituted an offering of unregistered securities worth over $1.38 billion US. Last week, Nicole Tatz, an attorney for Ripple Chief Executive Officer Bradley Garlinghouse, withdrew a role as the co-defendant's counsel, as she will no longer be associated with the law firm representing the case, or representing him starting from December 31st. So that was just a quick synopsis there. And then Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse calls Gary Gensler's meeting with Sam Bankman-Fried shameful. So, just a little bit of the chief executive of Ripple Labs says that former FTX CEO Sam Bankman-Fried's meeting with U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission SEC Chair Gary Gensler was shameful, responding to an opinion piece by the Wall Street Journal questioning Gensler's failure to foresee the FTX collapse. Brad Garlinghouse says it was shameful that the SEC chair was caught off guard by the debacle, even after meeting with Bankman-Fried multiple times. It's ridiculous and frankly shameful that Gary Gensler was touting the SEC's enforcement actions as the top on the beat. Yet, per public reports, met with Sam Bankman-Fried multiple times, but was caught completely flat-footed when the alleged fraud finally came to light. The SEC and Ripple in late 2020 under allegations that the firm sold XRP as an unregistered security, but the regulator did not launch any investigation into FTX prior to the multi-billion-dollar collapse. According to pro-XRP attorney Johnny Deaton, the SEC's enforcement actions may have punished firms that were skirting regulations but failed to set any precedent or guidelines. He referenced crypto lending platform BlockFi, which agreed to pay $100 million in fines to the SEC and then went bankrupt months later. Everyone should ask Gary Gensler and the SEC what changed when BlockFi agreed to pay $70 million of the $100 million imposed by Gensler. BlockFi was making payments to the SEC for God's sake. The SEC is the second largest creditor in the BlockFi bankruptcy. But what policy or practical measures were implemented by this settlement? Gensler says come in and talk. BlockFi did and paid big money for doing so. But how did this settlement provide guidance to others? How did this settlement protect investors? FTX collapsed last month, and Bankman-Fried was subsequently accused of and charged with fraud, mishandling customer funds, and making illegal campaign donations. He was recently arrested in the Bahamas. And then just a little bit of news too, Sam Bankman-Fried, he was released on $250 million bond. So when they tell you he's broke, I mean, you can take that. There was a report that came out that said he had about $100,000 left of net worth. Well, I mean, just so you know, on a $250 million bond, it costs $2.5 million to get out on 10%. So, I mean, they're all bullshitting you. When we come into the markets, and Brad Garlinghouse, what I read before, he's visibly upset, and rightfully so, because Gary Gensler has been meeting with Sam Bankman. He knows all about FTX. I'm sure he's gotten paid on the back end. Never investigated or anything, and it was clearly right out in front of him. And anybody who supposedly is the enforcement agency like the Securities and Exchange Commission, surely they should have been able to see that happening. But when fraud's perpetrated and you're getting paid for it, just like they got paid a boatload out of BlockFi, out of user funds, might I add you, that were stolen, the government's just as corrupt as they come. So like I said, right now, the Dow Jones futures is up about 130 points at the moment. We've got the DXY down 0.17%, but still holding the 104.21, and that is a somewhat important level because we're breaking up, and we could have made a, if you talk about right in here, we come up, we could be making a little handle here, and this looks like a small bull flag that's getting a little consolidation. If so, we could come up to that 105.09, and that's what I'm anticipating could happen. Assuming we don't break down this descending triangle at 103.90, I think we're good to go. A lot of things are under pressure this morning, so we're going to have to pay a lot of attention while I'm coming out to do a very early update. Like I said, the Dow, it's up right now 121 points. S&P futures is up 13 points. The Russell 2000 is up 7.90, or 8 points. The VIX is down 0.10%, so risk on are up and down right now. So commodities, gold's up $6.85, flirting with that 1800 resistance. We've got silver flirting with the $24 resistance as it's up about 1% or 23 cents. Commodities are going to be a little hit or miss this morning. Got platinum up 19 bucks, flirting with the 1,000 threshold per ounce. And then you've got copper up 1.23%, which, as you know, XDC is linked to copper. So with copper increasing, it puts a little bit of pressure on XDC, but not for today. But sometime in the future, you're going to see a significant price increase on XDC as copper sits at 3.811 per pound. Total crypto market cap is up 0.26% to 772 billion. We haven't really made any noise yet, but we also haven't broken down anymore. So on the sideways consolidation, and just based on what I'm seeing in the broader markets, we could attempt to rally and try to retest at 801 billion that we've talked about, that we haven't came up and hit the drop point as a retest. That's something that traditionally will happen before the markets completely collapse. If we go down here to XRP now at 352, we talked yesterday. And for the last couple of days, yes, the volume's not great, but it bewilders me to believe that we won't come up and at least retest that symmetrical triangle break at 371. Or it behooves me, I should say. So that's why I've been talking about it so much. That as long as we don't break down the 335, ultimately, and we could get back above the 348, we can get back and test the 371. The only thing in between that is the 355. So right now you'd be looking at the 355. So right now we're using the 348 as support. We're using 355 right now until we can get over it as resistance. And then if we can break 355, we'll end up coming over to the 371 symmetrical triangle. This is where we're currently at, what I was talking about. It's using 351, but I still like the 355. But because it's downtrending support, it's at the 351 level. That's why right now is actually a pivot point in the expanding pattern. So we'll see if we can do that. But I still like to get a confluent breakout over 355. If we just look at the charts, you can see that that's a main level we're pivoting with. We broke back into the descending triangle, or the bear flag, or ascending triangle. And now we're going to look to break out past the 355. That's why I consider this a very important level, because then you're clear up to about the 371 if you can break that. Otherwise, if you reverse back down, first look at 348, 335, 308, and 287. That's the clearest I can tell you for the up and down on XRP. And our next major resistance is the 355. If we look at XLM, we're still outside this descending triangle we broke down. Now it's looking like we're going to try to get, first we're going to try to get a back test at 077 approximately to confirm this breakdown. So if you don't see any market or broader market support, this could absolutely break down. There's not a lot of volume coming in at all with XLM. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. For this 30 minutes or 45 minute segment, in the first 35 minutes, we've had 10,000 in volume. It's not going to get it done. To put it in perspective, I mean, you're looking at 3 times more volume right now. Well, way more. 1.381 million on the drop. So, I mean, that's a big difference from what we're having on this recovery volume. So that's what I'm looking at for XLM right now. Don't make this too difficult. It looks like we're trying to retest. And if we do break down, instead of breaking up, our next level to come down to on this downtrending support would be about 7 cents. So we're in between 7 cent support and 7.7 resistance right now. And then DGB. We're inside firmly of this ascending triangle bear flag. We talked about how this should be a breakdown here as that is topping out. and it looked like a sneaky head and shoulders was put in after it broke out of the pivot level. Now it came back out and consolidated, and we got this resistance that we have to break back above at 00834. We're between 00834 and 00747, which actually tightened up to 00765. So that's what we're looking at to see if we can possibly break out of this formation. It's not looking too pretty right now for DGB, as we are on a major pivot of 00802. So look to break that first, or 803, before you can even contend with the 835. So 803 and 835 for DGB. And then Bitcoin while I've got you. And then I'll let you go so that you can get this update. So right now we're still within this falling channel after we broke out of this side winding. I mean, this is such a fuck pattern right now. If we continue to break up, we're going to come look at the 18,000 mark, but that is not the first thing that needs to happen. We need to make sure we hold this support at 16,600 approximately. And then ultimately, we need to break out of here, which is this downtrending resistance at 16,870 approximately. If you can break back above that, your next level would be about 17,662. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and as you know, I do things a little bit differently around here. I don't do any paid advertising. There's no paid promotions. I don't get paid by any exchange or any entity. Nobody pays me to say, tell you what to think about crypto. So what I'm trying to say here is this is for the people, by the people, from the 214 members of Tom's Army who pay $9.99, whether they've been around since the 42-cent entry or the $1.66 exit, or being liquid the entire time after making 400+% and just wanting to pay it forward, or you just learned how to do technical analysis better, or you just appreciate the fact that I put all my content out for free. I implore you to join Tom's Army for no other reason the fact that I don't put out any paid advertising, no paid promotion, there's no special interest, and I don't accept a single dollar from the big guys. I don't accept any money from the paid advertisers or paid promoters that want me to tell you what to do or where to trade. What I do is I tell you where I trade, the exchanges I'm on, and because of the members of Tom's Army, they pay for this 100%, and they allow me to do this ad-free with no paid advertising or special paid promoters. I don't advertise any paid products either because I don't care to do it. If you want to join me on MEXC, no VPN, no spot fees, no KYC, and up to 200x leverage in the USA, you can trade perfectly fine. I implore you, the reason I show you BitGet and MEXC on here is because last year when I first started, I paid the extraordinary spot fees because I didn't understand how to do it from exchange to exchange. I didn't understand the inner workings, but I taught myself so that I could teach my audience better. So now learn from my mistakes. Go on MEXC or BitGet, whichever you fancy, depending on where you live, and you can get your XRP, your crypto, and your ISO coin spot free. Then if you like Uphold or your native wallets or exchanges, you can send it to there via XRP Ledger, USDT, or USDC, or any other way you feel the need. So don't pay for spot fees. Save that money. Learn from me. Hashtag the FUD stops here.